This is the Energy Makers Show, featuring the innovators, financiers, and policymakers focused on the global energy demand. Brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And here's your host, Paul Dickerson.
Hi, I'm Paul Dickerson, and welcome to another episode of the Energy Makers Show. First up, Brandy Obvintsev, founder of Energy People Connect, sharing her perspective on the energy industry and its people, along with a look at her new shale platform partnership. Next up, Kemal Farid, founder and CEO of Merrick Systems, a 20-year-old oil and gas software company focused on production and reservoir management used in 20 to 25% of all oil and gas production. All that right after this.
At BKD, we understand the constantly shifting nature of the energy industry. As a national CPA and advisory firm, we serve energy clients from the beginning to the end of the cycle. Our experienced energy advisors serve approximately 300 energy companies in exploration, midstream, downstream, oilfield services, and power production. Plus, we're the largest North American member of the Praxity Global Alliance, which means we can help you wherever you operate. Contact a BKD advisor or visit us online to learn more.
Welcome to another episode of The Future of Water in Unconventionals, brought to you by IHS and CAP Resources.
Hello, I'm Laura Capper of CAP Resources.
And I'm Marcus Gay with IHS.
So Marcus, let's talk about how we came together on this collaborative effort.
Yeah, actually that's a really interesting story. So over the last couple of years, IHS has been doing a lot of work trying to feather together water issues throughout all of the different industry verticals that we work in. And actually it was through the work that I've been doing in the unconventional landscape and the upstream space that I heard about the work that you were doing, Laura. I was out there speaking to operators, service providers, and other people within this value chain, and your name came up a number of times because you had been asking many of the same questions. So I was really excited to reach out to you and was very excited when I found out that we had such complementary work.
Well, and it was fortuitous that you made that phone call. Very appreciative. And I think what's fun about this report and this project is it's really nice to be focusing on the environmental side of oil and gas markets. That's something kind of different for the industry. Water usage is such a hot topic, and it's much more than an academic exercise. We've actually had people in the field talking to operators, seeing what they're actually doing, how they're using this water, getting real prices, understanding those community impacts. So I think we're bringing it all together with your databases and understanding of completions and drilling activities in oil and gas wells, complementing it with what we're learning from the field in water management.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's huge synergies with the Rolodex that you have, the operational knowledge that you have, the economists, the regional forecasting, and the industry databases that IHS has. It really does bring to market two fantastic reports, one on water market opportunities and the other one on water management strategies.
So hopefully this will be a good way to jumpstart others in the industry.
Check back for more on water management and market opportunities.
And for more information on water management strategies and water market opportunities in the continental U.S., go to ihs.com/waterunconventionals. This is the Energy Makers Show, brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And now back to the Energy Makers Show with your host, Paul Dickerson.
Welcome back to the Energy Makers Show. Our guest now, Brandy Obvintsev, CEO and founder of Energy People Connect. Brandy, great to see you again.
Fantastic to be here.
It's
Paul.
been a while since you were on the program.
I know, it has been.
So fill us in. What's been happening with Energy People Connect?
Well, we've been growing. We've been getting involved in a lot of interesting communications projects with some exciting clients. We've been working on our sister company, Shale Experts. We've just been doing a lot of amazing things and falling in love with the energy industry every day.
Well, and for those people who didn't see the first episode, walk us through the platform and what it is that you do.
Energy People Connect started out as an online social network for people in the global energy industry.
Well ahead of its time.
Very much ahead of its time, which is a challenging thing to be. You don't want to be the first in the energy industry, but it's been a fantastic run. We have members from all over the world, and we do events in conjunction with other professional organizations, and we also help clients with communications challenges, change management challenges, things of that nature.
Well, as you look ahead, as you say, it's been an incredible time for the energy industry. But as you look into 2013, what do you see coming?
Oh gosh, I think continued debate around the shale issue, certainly, as we really try to figure out our foothold as now as an exporter domestically. That's very, very exciting. Things are very much, we knew that this whole unconventional piece is a technology play, but we're looking at things and it becomes an infrastructure play. When things become infrastructure plays, it's about location.
Explain that a little bit, from technology to infrastructure.
Sure. So really to the enablement of fracking and the enablement of unconventional and these horizontal wells and so forth were really related to just horizontal drilling. Now we know we can do it. It's been validated. It's the lifting costs are reasonable, right. But now we have to figure out how to get the hydrocarbon to market and so forth, and where to put the critical mass to really develop some of these fields. True. So that becomes an issue of place, and it becomes an issue of infrastructure. So pipelines and trains, planes, and automobiles. So it becomes a really, really interesting conversation because, of course, that's about people, it's about communities, and that's really kind of the space that we like to play in. So it's pretty exciting.
Well, and as you look at some of the pipeline issues or the debate between do we train it or do we pipe it,
right?
Where do you see that debate coming down?
Well, I think, again, we are very challenged in this business because we haven't really built up a lot of credibility with the communities at large that we're playing, that we're working with. So I think that there's a huge opportunity to take a step back and really get some engagement there.
And without that engagement, there's fear and opposition, or?
I think in some instances there's fear and opposition. I think in some instances there's kind of a blind welcoming that, the gold rush is here in our community. I think overall, though, there's going to be a lack of understanding, and that's never a good thing in our business.
Well, how can your platform play a role in yielding a better understanding?
Well, Energy People Connect really does a good job of highlighting the people in the energy industry and providing a platform for those conversations. Right. Our sister platform, Shale Experts, really provides the data behind what's really going on. So,
and tell me more. Shale Experts?
Yes. So it's shaleexperts.com, and what we really like to say is we help individuals become shale experts with the information that we provide. We contextualize information very well, very aggressively, and we look at things across the board. So everything from mergers and acquisitions to frac stages, to planning, to the kind of the gray area between an investor presentation and a 10K. So it's very, very exciting. It's really easy to use. People really enjoy it.
Well, and your company's continued to grow.
It has. So that's one of the fun things about being nimble, being very entrepreneurial, being a startup. When we see something that that really can help the industry, and then we can join forces and become a part of it. So that's
and not just with a local platform, very much a national or international.
Very
platform.
International, yeah. So Shale Experts, we cover the international shale plays, which is extremely unusual. Energy People Connect has members from all over the world. So yes, it is. Just like our industry, we have to be international.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Brandy. Great to see you again.
It's a pleasure, Paul. Thank you so much.
And that wraps our discussion with Brandy Obvintsev. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome to this edition of The Power of People, where we explore how to bring out the best in your most valuable asset. I'm Robin Knowles, President and CEO at TDS, the Workforce Performance Experts. Today we're talking with Jim Newport, retired international chemical manufacturing executive and now President and Managing Director of CHEM-MAN Consulting, and an associate with the Merced Group. We will hear about career and technology education reform, passed by the 83rd Legislature and signed into law by Governor Perry in June. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
Thanks for inviting me.
Jim, as a manufacturing executive and a consultant, I know you believe that the recent major reforms in Texas secondary education will create opportunities for young people to choose a career in technology earlier in their education. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Texas energy industry is experiencing unprecedented growth and demand for trained workers, both in the academic area and the technical area. The secondary education reforms that have just been recently signed in Austin will help and make Texas a national leader in allowing flexibility for students to pick a track that they want to focus on in their secondary education. Either a 4-year college prep track, which is the current system facilitates, or a track focusing on career and technology.
So you said potentially young workers entering high school can choose to focus on getting into a 4-year college degree or focus on a career in technology. What will these new laws actually provide for them?
The current graduation requirements for students requires 4 credits each year in the following areas: English, science, math, and social studies. However, beginning in academic year 2014 and 15, the students will be able to complete an academic focus area which includes 22 credits, 4 in English, 3 each in math, science, and social studies, 2 in a foreign language, 1 each in fine art and physical education, and then it also includes 5 elective areas.
So how does that prepare the students for an earlier option in career preparation?
In addition to the 22 foundation credits, the student has the flexibility and will have the requirement to select an endorsement area. There are 4 areas that they will select in discussing with their parents and their counselors. The first is STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. The second would be business and industry. The third, endorsement area, public service. And the fourth, multidisciplinary studies.
So why will this new 2-track structure in the high schools provide more of a career focus?
The new structure provides students the flexibility to both choose a strong academic focus, but they'll also have the opportunity to focus in an endorsement area to prepare them for their chosen career in the future.
Thank you so much, Jim, for being with us today.
Thank you.
This has been another edition of The Power of People. Join us again next time to learn more about how you can develop excellence in your workforce while getting the best possible ROI from your human capital.
This is the Energy Makers Show, brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And now, back to the Energy Makers Show with your host, Russ Capper.
Welcome back to the Energy Maker Show. My guest now, Kemal Farid, the founder and CEO of Merrick Systems. Kemal, welcome to the Energy Maker Show.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
You bet. Tell us about Merrick Systems.
Merrick Systems is a software company based here in Houston, Texas that I co-founded over 20 years ago.
Okay.
And our focus is on oil and gas production operations and reservoir management. So as a software company, we produce standard products that are implemented around the world and are used to manage about 20 to 25% of the oil and gas production in the United States. Basically, field operations management, hydrocarbon accounting, managing the production data that is the lifeblood of an oil and gas company. And we have to accomplish one of 3 things or more than one of those 3 things for our customers: increase their production rates, increase the total recoverables from their field, and decrease their lifting cost. And that's how we provide value to our customers.
Okay, so over 20 years, I imagine it's sort of changed over that period of time.
Yeah, so when I started the company, I actually wrote all the software myself over 20 years ago on an Apple Macintosh that we then cross-compiled the software onto IBM PCs for delivery to oil companies because they used IBMs. I mean, that was a very different. That was Kemal with a ponytail, not Kemal with short hair as the CEO. So the transformation as an entrepreneur, going from being sort of the technical creator of something to being somebody who manages an organization and has investors and all of that, is it's been a couple of decade journey for me.
Okay, so you have a digital technical background as opposed to an engineering background.
I'm an electrical engineer and computer and software engineer. So I'm a digital systems engineer, and then I've applied that to oil and gas production operations, reservoir management, and drilling operations over the last 20 years.
Okay, so 20 years ago, early 1990s, oil wasn't very highly priced at that time, was it?
Right, yeah, the pricing was lower, both for oil and natural gas. We got started really in a very niche area of focusing on regulatory compliance for natural gas production and transportation. And our first customers were Enron, which is EOG Resources now,
Right.
so we still have that
Right.
customer. Exxon, which is ExxonMobil now, so we still have that customer.
Right.
And Oryx, which was a pipeline company, which I'm not sure what they got acquired by somebody along the way. But we launched with 2 products dealing with transportation production. And the key technology change that was happening in those early 90s was computing going from being mainframe based
Right.
to being PC oriented
Right.
networks of PC and client server computing. So we looked for opportunities where oil companies needed software for data management, and they were doing it on mainframes, but they really needed a transfer to PCs and networks. And so we built applications that we knew there was a market for, that they'd be refreshing their technology with. And that's been a trend over time. I look for where technologies are changing, enabling new things, where there'll be new opportunities to deliver a new technology platform like mobile applications or web-based applications, and just jump ahead of our competition, which are the big companies like Halliburton and Schlumberger.
Okay. Now, it's kind of interesting because you are still be considered a small company, right?
Yeah, so about 100-person firm. So that's a small to mid-size business in the oil and gas space for sure.
Right.
Yeah,
But it does seem like you have a pretty decent market share across several of these platforms, right?
We've built a nice market share over the last decade and a half in our production business, our core business.
Okay. So say an exploration and production company. How would you specifically benefit my operation?
So I'm going to create visibility from your C-suite and everybody in operations and engineering to your field operations, so that every day anybody in the company who's involved in operations or involved in managing or overseeing operations up to the CEO has visibility into everything going on in the field. Are we on target? Are our production rates what we're expecting? What sort of problems operational are we having? In the field, I'm putting all of the information in the hands of the people who are going to the wells and managing the wells and their supervisors and superintendents. What is going on in the field? Where should they be looking for problems? Where there are potential problems cropping up? And then managing all of the technical data in field operations: temperatures, pressures, flow rates, fluid conditions, operating equipment conditions, maintenance inspection, downtime management, and then even reservoir data and subsurface, which is a longer time frame. You're managing that over months and years. Day-to-day operations you're managing every day. And then you take that information back in the office and you do your operational accounting, your hydrocarbon accounting. Where did all the fluid come from? Where did it go? Who bought it? And you have to keep track of every molecule. So that's a big operational accounting problem that every oil and gas company has. And so we handle that core operational accounting, and then the engineering and surveillance as well. Are things working the way they're supposed to? So our software is where operations, accounting, and engineering all come together to manage the day-to-day field operations business of an oil and gas operator, a company that's producing oil and gas around the world.
Okay, real interesting. Now, it seems to me that perhaps input of a lot of these data has sort of surfaced through all this increased sensing technology that's available there today. Does that apply with your product?
Absolutely. So 20 years ago, most of this data was being collected manually by people who were driving from well to well to well. And now on any new well that's drilled, the majority of that data is going to be captured through automated sensors and telemetry systems that are bringing that data back. And so but there's still a lot of manual things that have to be captured: maintenance, run tickets, fluid movements from place to place, all of that stuff. And then there's still a lot of non-automated data. But all that data, whether it's automated or non-automated, all has to get into that same production data management system so it's available to everybody. So we're collecting data manually with people running around the field with smartphones entering in data or laptops in their trucks, and we're reading all the data out of the automation systems as well. And then we do the business side of it.
Okay, now all that data, it sounds to me like you're working with big data.
We are working with huge amounts of data, exactly. And there are some interesting things coming up with big data analytics. So We've worked over the years with a number of artificial intelligence and statistics-based technologies to do things like improve production rate, optimize production, all of those things. Most of those tended to be more point solutions for a well or dealing with smaller data sets. There's stuff that I can't talk about right now that we're working on that really takes these much larger data sets of tens of thousands of wells and allows us to do more predictive analytics on what kind of behaviors the wells can have and what kind of potential they have for increased production based on a whole population of other wells that are similar and what other operators or what that operator has done in the past.
Okay, now at the end of the day, the products that you build, sell, install, and support, are you building them from top to bottom, or are they instead perhaps you're using somebody else's platform, somebody's template over here, like so many software companies do today?
Well, we use a lot of tools to build our applications, but for the most part, we create the software, the code, all in the U.S. with our own staff. So we have a software development staff. Most of those developers have been with us for many years. And when you build a software company, that core of your technical development staff, the longer they've been with you, the more they know how to work as a team, the more they know how to take their domain knowledge and turn that into a usable product with a beautiful and rich user experience, the better a job you do of serving your customers. Our customers aren't oil and gas companies. Our customers are people who work in oil and gas companies and spend their day living within this computer screen, doing the work that they do in this environment that we create. And it can either be easy to use and beautiful and an enjoyable experience because we're not standing in the way of them getting their stuff done, or it can be poorly architected, poorly designed, frustrating, and so our software developers, they have a lot of impact on the lives of the people who use the software, and if they do a good job, then those people are going to be happy, and if not, then there's a lot of bad karma.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I get the picture.
Software design is very important.
Okay, so you just did a good job of sort of separating what your customers do from the actual oil well itself. But at the end of the day, what's happening out in the oil field has had a hugely dramatic effect, I would assume, on your business. I mean, the shale plays are just unbelievable.
Absolutely. So looking back around 2007, 2008, when the shale plays were really starting to take off. And that was happening with a lot of independent producers in the U.S. who were very innovative in the combined use of horizontal drilling along with hydraulic fracturing in order to get oil and gas out of these previously unproductive reservoirs. And that technology has been around for decades, but it really boomed. At that time, we were really growing a lot internationally, and we were looking at expanding into other countries and other areas. And then this shale boom happened, and we turned our focus back around 2008 and 2009 to the U.S., and it's just been going like gangbusters. So we have our software in every major shale play in the U.S. We're probably the dominant production operation software provider in that space. I'm sure we are. I don't think anybody else comes close.
If you look at what's going on out there too, there's a lot of focus on, obviously, on hydraulic fracturing and the water involved and the chemicals that go in some states you have to track those. Does your software, are you playing in that category as well?
That is part of field operations. So part of what we have to manage is the water, all the hauling of the water, disposal of the water. And then there's a huge transportation aspect in production now in shale plays, especially oil shales. Well, in any even liquid-rich gas plays, because the pipeline infrastructure that exists in most mature fields does not exist in the newer shale plays. So all those fluids have to be trucked in tanker trucks from the well head to some other point of aggregation where they can be delivered into a pipeline or delivered into a plant. So there's a lot of data management underlying all the inventory that's used in hydraulic fracturing and managing all of the tests then that are done, very specialized tests, to then also manage the water that's going in and out of the well. And then in the end, all the fluids produced, because there's so little infrastructure, ends up being lots of small transactions of trucking things around.
Absolutely.
So
okay.
yeah, it is. It's a different operational need than there was 10 years ago.
Okay. So really, at the end of the day, it feels like it's a really good times at Merrick Systems.
Yeah, I'm very happy these days. Yeah, we're growing quickly. We have many years of growth ahead of us, and we've been growing well now in the U.S. for the last half a decade. And about a year and a half ago, we launched a new strategy to grow globally. So there's three parts to that. One is the product part, making sure we have the best product in the world. That market share that I described, that's in the U.S. We're the clear market leader in the U.S. We want to be, in 3 to 5 years, the clear market leader globally. So we're building out that product, and we've done a lot of work on it. There's about another year or two of work to really get where I want it to be. And then we're building a partner network globally to help us with implementations, which those partners look like the large system integration firms, global integrators, and then even smaller regional firms. And that's a typical Cisco, Microsoft type strategy where you build this ecosystem of partners around you. And then we've been building offices around the world. So in the last year and a half, we've opened up Calgary, Bogota, Singapore, and Oslo. And the next will probably be the Middle East. So we can provide those partners and the customers we're selling to technical support and sales support locally.
Very impressive, Kemal. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. That's Kemal Farid, the founder and CEO of Merrick Systems. And this is the Energy Maker Show, heard on the radio and seen right here at TheEnergyMakers.com.